What's good, Lit Squad? What is up, Epic Research Crew? So, guys, this is going to be a very interesting stream, and this is something I should have talked about already, but last night, the dream I had is definitely the catalyst for the conversation we're having. Angie! What's up, Angie? So, uh, hello, battery pack. This is going to be pretty intense. It's going to be pretty intense. So, I'm going to go over two dreams. One I had last night and one I had a while ago. I talked a little bit about Deblit. Also, guys, I don't think it's just a coincidence that I had the dream last night and then we have the crazy communication that happened. Also, I want to hear what you all heard during those sessions, those brief like 2 and 3 minute sessions that I did earlier and posted on the Patreon. I want to hear what you all heard and what you all thought. I've talked to a lot of y'all and I've seen a lot of the comments, but we can just hash it out here too and just talk about it because there is some stuff like, check this out. Para voice, what up? Is it Jane? Is it Allison? Is it both? So, one of the things that was craziest, hey Jane, one of the things that was craziest in the session from earlier is when I said, if it's something about Post Town, say Post Town. And the spirit repeats me. And if you put it on 0.5 speed, if you put it on half speed, you hear him go, at first it sounds like, day. And then when it comes back around, he goes, say Post Town. Clear. It's super clear. And it mentioned Daryl, Pam, Bill. Y'all heard Yvonne in it as well, which is it's her gateway that it came out of. So, I mean, that makes sense. It was just absolutely mind-blowing communication. And I've noticed that, like, I've done sessions not on Mondays and Thursdays, not on schedule before, and it's not been as lit as that. Like, usually, I feel like our spirit guides are, like, they're aware of our schedule, our Monday, Thursday schedule, Monday, Thursday, Saturday. But today is different, guys. Today is absolutely different, and so that's why we're doing this Patreon stream right now. So let's talk about the dreams. I'm still waiting on a couple people to get here. I posted it everywhere. It did take me a little bit to get this going, so that's on me. Alright guys, I'm gonna try and scooch over here with you. Alright. So let's talk. Let's talk, guys. Let's talk about our feelings. No, I'm kidding. I do want to talk about these dreams though. So we'll give it like another minute. Also, we'll run the gateway a little bit. I can't believe earlier, like the freaking communication earlier was just off the charts, just absolutely off. That hello Eric, I need to put that in like a clip, like right away. That hello Eric was so flippin' clear. It was so clear. It was so absolutely clear. Is the image mirrored, by the way? Like, are the words backwards on this still? Are we still getting the camera flip effect? All right, we got one more person in here. All right, let's go ahead and start. So, it is flipped. So, Deblet, Jane, Angie, everyone who's here right now, and everyone who's rewatching, let's go over some of these dreams. First, I want to talk about the one I had last night. Last night, the dream I had was so incredibly unnerving that when I woke up, I was just instantly out of bed. Normally it takes me a minute, but I was instantly out of bed. It was just so unnerving. So here's the gist of it. It was a really long dream and it didn't get super vivid until towards the end of it. And it started off where like I'd played a show with some people, like a music show, like I played a show and we were talking about hauntings. They told me about these different buildings. So we went to this one building and I kind of felt like it was a trap. Siri, what's up, Siri? Guys, tell Siri to refresh if you can't hear me. But I felt like it was a trap. We go to the first building. Like, I don't know these dudes very well. I had just met them at this show. And we go to this first building. I felt like it was a trap. It was weird, but it was active. It was definitely active, and it was like movie active. But I decided to go with them to a second location. They were like, well, we want to take you to one more place. And by the time they wanted to take me to this place, like, the sun was already, like, coming up. It was that, like, late, because we played the show, It got late, and then the sun was about to come up, and they're like, well, let's check out this one last location. They're like, come on, Eric, come on. We just need you to look at this location. There's something going on. We need you to check it out. And this is where it gets vivid, is right when I get to the location, the second location. So at this location, and guys, this is just, it's, you hear about this stuff, you see it like in movies and CGI and stuff, but we get to this location, and instantly I get that feeling, that like, that, oh crap, something is in here, what the heck. So we go inside, there's like I barely remember the first floor, but when you go inside, there's like this big staircase, and it goes up, and it's one of those spiral, like rectangular spiral staircase where it's like like, you know, I don't know, but, and there was a kitchen. Yeah, that's right. There was a kitchen down there on the, like when you walk in, it's like, I guess like the foyer, and then the kitchen directly back, and then the steps are like in the middle, and you go up the steps, and then we were on the second floor, and I felt like something was moving around, and I had that feeling like these guys were out to like trap me or something, but I could feel something move around over there. And then the one guy, there was like two guys with me, the one guy decides to go down this hallway, just completely dark hallway, all wood, like nice wooden house, like in like mahogany or dark wood, like everywhere. And so he goes down that way. The other guy, I think, is like downstairs or something. And so I decided to go into this room. It's like right as you get to the second floor landing, there's like, you can go back, or there's this room right here you can go in. Oh man, this is freaking me out just talking about it. Guys, it was so freaky. So I go into this room, I open the door, big wooden door. I open the door, metal handle on the door, and I open it up, and there's like a window, and there's like shelves, and you could see like dust and cobwebs, and you could see the sunlight coming in from outside, because like morning, you know. And I was looking around, and there's just like, this room looked ancient compared to the rest of the house. The rest of the house had a like someone had like cleaned within the past couple months at least, but this room was just cobwebs and just like dust, and you could see like all that stuff. And then there were a handful of shelves, and or I guess like bookcases rather, just with random stuff on them. Oh man, oh my. And so I look over to the left, on the left back of the room, and oh, I'm freaking out just thinking about this. There was a shelf with some stuff on it. On the top part of the shelf, there was a doll there, and it was bigger than Vanessa. It was, I don't know, probably the size of a small child. Like, there was a doll sitting there, and she had like black hair, curly on the bottom part. She had like kind of thick eyebrows for a doll, and like prominent eyelashes, and she had like white and pink, similar to the color scheme that Vanessa has, but completely different dress, like more of a classic dress with, I guess, like suspenders or something. Oh man. Okay, so she's sitting there, and the doll turns its head and looks at me, and then starts talking to me telepathically. And in that moment, like, because I was looking at her, and she turned her head right towards me and started talking telepathically right into my mind. In that moment, it shattered, like, the whole dream had already been vivid at this point, but it shattered every kind of restraint your brain has on dreaming. Oh, man. And it just unleashed my full, like, I guess adrenaline started running through me, and it just unleashed my full brain capacity, like, and immediately I was hyper aware of everything that just happened, and this doll that's talking to my brain and moving on its own. And so it as it was talking, it like starts lifting up and scooting forward like it's gonna fall off the edge of the shelf. And then it gets to the edge, and it looks like it's floating. And I panic. I was like, at that point, because the whole time I felt like these guys were trying to like mess with me or like do something. And so I was like, these guys brought me here and set me up for this. They're going to lock me in this room. So I like bolted out of the room, ran down the steps. And as I was running down the steps, it hit me. I'm dreaming. It hit me right there that I was dreaming. And I think it's because all that adrenaline and, it's the only way my brain can make sense of it. But I wasn't 100% convinced that I was dreaming. I couldn't fully convince my mind that I was, but I was aware that this could be a dream. And so I ran down the steps, and when I walked out of the freaking building, it was like office doors, like to an office building. To walk out, I just pushed them open. And when I looked back, it was a big office building, like a freaking office complex. And I could still hear her talking to me. And I could, like, as I was running down the steps, I saw her following me. And, oh, the last time I saw her was right before I went to open the door and leave the building. And as I was running, I saw a bug, like a VW bug car, like one of those little bugs in the parking lot. And it was like a big parking lot, like it was like a freaking business or something. But I saw the car and I was like, crap, that's not my car. I have no idea where my car is. And I was like, but this is a dream. So I'm going to turn back and make that my car. And when I look back at it, it's going to be my car. And it was. And I was like, all right, I'm dreaming. So I'm just going to float on over there. And so I literally, what I did is I like leaned forward and turned around and I started floating and I started just floating up and up and up. And then I was like, I've got to wake up. And then I woke up and it was really intense. And that moment that doll turned and spoke to me, it's a memory. I know it was a dream, but the way my brain is processing it is as if it's a memory, a really intense memory. And because of this, the reactions I get to it, it feels like there's something, it feels like I could go to it. It feels like that doll is somewhere. And maybe it's because Vanessa's been talking with us, but guys, I think what's going to happen very soon is that the spirit world is going to start coming through. They're going to figure out some kind of way, some kind of little loophole or some kind of subatomic gap that they're going to start getting through. And they're going to start manifesting themselves in ways that we've never seen before and never expected. And I think this dream is preparation for that. I believe in the theory that dreams are actually our minds preparing us for the most stressful and or intense parts of our life. Our subconscious brain, our unconscious brain, it has the ability to do things that we can't even imagine. And one of them is dreams. And dreams, I believe, are the thing that prepare us for our day-to-day reality. I think that's why when you sleep and you wake up, you feel better. Like, because you're ready to face the day more. And I also think sleeping gets you in touch with your spirit. Like when you shut the mind down, you can actually be your spirit. You can be the soul that's inside of you and communicate with what has happened during the day and then relay that data through your soul back to your mind and decide what to do, decide how to face it. And that's why if you don't sleep for a long time, you start getting weird. I do. I get really weird. And it feels like when I don't sleep, it feels like I'm losing the attachment to the other world that we come from, the spirit world or whatever. It feels like I'm losing it. And then as I don't sleep, the longer I go without sleep, the more I realize that this world is just messed up. But when I do get plenty of sleep, it's all good. So I don't know. I think it's a big, important factor. Just like puppies. When puppies, even dogs, just from puppy all the way through adulthood, when dogs dream, they'll move their legs and arms, especially when they're puppies, though. They'll really do it. And it's because their brain has determined that the dog needs to exercise whenever, no matter what. And it's going to do it while it's sleeping. It's going to prepare it. It's going to give it dreams of chasing things, succeeding, preparing it to like hunt and to run. Our brains do that too. And because my whole life is invested in figuring out the paranormal phenomenon, and not just figuring out, but getting in touch with the entities that are trying to reach us because they obviously need help. My whole life is invested around that. And I think my brain, the under part of my brain, is becoming in tune with that. So much so that it's like, well, we're going to have to prepare you for this. Something's coming. We're going to have to prepare you for it. And this is what you got to do. I do think maybe Vanessa, maybe some other doll, something's going to start moving on its own. Something's going to start talking to us. Something is going to break the telepathy barrier very soon. We have to be ready for it. And you cannot experience those things firsthand without some kind of preparation. It's like all those conspiracy theories on aliens and like different US government officials who worked with aliens in Area 51. They come out and say their story. No one believes them. Of course, obviously. Why? But they say things like they started off by showing us a cartoon drawing of an alien. They would show it to us 3 times a day, every day for a week. And then they started showing us an animation, a cartoon animation of the alien. And then they started showing us like a 3D model of the alien, like a 3D model. Then they show us these sculptures. And then they animate the sculptures. And then they make us interact with the sculptures. And then after months and months of, watching the animated aliens, seeing the 3D sculpted aliens, interacting with the 3D sculpted aliens, then after all that time, then they introduce them to the actual alien. And still, a lot of these people that they tried this with couldn't handle the experience. Now guys, that's all conspiracy. Like there's no footage or anything to back that up with, but that's been stated on the record numerous times by people who used to be government officials, supposedly. But it makes sense. What you're doing is you're prepping that person for something that their brain is not designed to handle. And I think that's what's happening here with the paranormal. I think my brain is prepping me for that moment when the doll does turn and start speaking, telepathically through the gateway, whatever it is. I think it's preparation for the paranormal. I really do. I think it's preparing us to experience the supernatural. All right, so guys, the other dream I had, I'll tell you here in just a second. I'm gonna do an EVP on the other dream I had. The other one I had was years ago, and it's way crazier. It's way crazier. But let's do an EVP here real quick. Let me get some shout outs in here. G-Man, Angie Rottingdahl, Devlet Johnson, Jane, Para Voice Jane, Christy Cheney. Thank you all for being here. Siri, I know you're here somewhere. Siri, my man. Dawn, Searching Truth. Dawn, I'm glad you're here. Dawn, you freaking rock. Guys, I hope as many of you as possible can make it to the Post Town event. It's going to be by far one of the greatest nights of my life. And I hope as many of you as possible can make it because it's going to be lit. It's going to be freaking lit. It's going to be so lit. All right, so let's do a quick little EVP here and see if maybe Vanessa heard me. Vanessa, did you hear me saying any of that? Whoa, okay. I was moving it, so I don't know. Get out something? Get out front. Whoa, right there. It sounded like, I don't know. All right. Guys, I will say this. I am absolutely in love with the 12587. I don't know why. Siri, no, that does make perfect sense. Siri brings up a point. Even if aliens were one day to just start walking among us, everyone would be like, it's CGI, it's lasers, it's BS. You know what I mean? Like, you're right, Siri. Like, I don't know. There's just so much that's like that, though. People live in such a controlled bubble, and I do too. I even accept some of what I believe could be false just so I can get through the day, just so I can interact normally with everybody. And to some degree, when you're doing this research, you have to be willing to know the truth, yet not be able to fully, I don't know, not you can know the truth without it changing anything. And that's what's brutal. When you find out the truth of our reality and existence and everything that's happened and everything that's being kept from us, it's tough. It's tough. And I remember when I first started like getting into, actual history and things that were not taught. I panicked. This was probably 2012. I lost it. I absolutely lost it. I couldn't handle it. Like, and I don't know, my brain had never been prepped for, you know, hearing about like all the different conspiracies and stuff, but it's wild. But I love the 587. I was talking about that. Absolutely love the 587. Let's do one more EVP. We'll do a quick 587 sweep, and then we will get back. We'll talk about the next dream. Dawn, yeah, exactly. Yep, Jane. Yep. Do you know the truth of our history and society? Vanessa, do you know? Ooh, it sounds like there's whispers at the beginning, and I kept it still at the beginning on this one. You hear that? It says, "Here we go" at the beginning. It goes. Did you hear that? Or "Here we come"? Oh! 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 Help. Come. One more replay. Jan lit. All right, there we go. All right, since they said they're coming, let's use a 587. See what pops. Oh, one thing that was weird with this, I was fixing it the other day, and after I got it put back together, I was on FM. I was on 103.3, which is a big station around here. Every time I would put the Hack Shack here next to Vanessa, there would be a strange hum coming through, but only on 103. I tried the frequencies right next to it, under it, and above it. Like, I tried a bunch of different other frequencies. Only 103, and only when I put it back there next to her. And even, like, if I set it down and then I'd put my hand by it, it would come through even clearer, this weird hum. And it wouldn't happen anywhere else. It was really weird. It was really weird. Maybe it was something to do with their signal. I don't know. It was just weird. I heard you say, "Here we come." Are you here?
I don't know what.
Can you say hi to the epic researchers? Can you say hi to the researchers?
Good, Paul, man.
I like how quiet mine is in between, you know? Who's dead? Who's dead? It's creepy sounding. Who's dead? Vanessa, are you here? It does feel cold over here. Can you say it's Vanessa? Vanessa! It was there. It was in there. Vanessa, you rock.
Center.
All right, Vanessa, I'm going to talk about my other dream. Then we'll do a quick gateway, and then we'll close it out. Sound like a plan research crew? Let's do it. All right, if you are one of the people that watch these Patreon streams later, like not live, just want to give you a quick shout out. Thank you so much. If you can, comment down below, whether it's on the YouTube or the Patreon, just be like, it's me. Like, just so I know it's you. Thank you so much for watching this. And guys, thank you for being epic researchers, all of you. To everyone who's here now and everyone who rewatches, thank you so much. Guys, I have 10 locations booked for the next, like, I don't know, like next 14 days. Or maybe it's the next, like, 21 days I have 10 locations booked. Something like that. And I've got a total of, like, 15 locations over the next couple months. Guys, I'm booking it up. And what's really cool is next week, oh wow, check this out. Check this out. So on location tomorrow, which is awesome. And then next week, 3 on location investigation that I've never been to before. 3 locations I've never been to before. Boom! That's awesome. I just realized that I hadn't been to any of these. That's gonna be wild. And I found a gym. I'm assuming it's a gym because of all the activity and evidence gathered there. It's this little place that I never heard of. It's very unknown, but it's open for investigations, and I'm super pumped for it. There's a couple well-known ones I'm doing. Yeah, there's 2 really well-known ones, and then one that's not super known, but all right, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, 4 on-location investigations coming up within the week. So tomorrow I'll be on location, the next week 3 on location, and then the second week of July, guys, I'm gonna be going so freaking hard. And the Post Town event is gonna be the end of one of the craziest weeks of my life, and whew. Oh man, I'm pumped for it. All right, let's talk about the dream, and we'll close out on some gateway. Sounds like a plan. I almost feel like we should do gateway now. Let's do the gateway now. Let's just see what's popping off on the gateway right now, and then we'll go into the dream. Janlit? I don't know. Guys, I'm scrolling up through the chat here to see what Janlet said. Sorry to hear you having rough times, Janlet. You know we're here for you, Janlet. We're here. Janlet, thank you for being here. You are the litness, so you always welcome in the lit squad. We always gonna welcome you with loving hearts, loving arms. I was about to say with loving arms. Like I don't know. All right, but Janlet, you're awesome. You're freaking awesome. Let's I want to try AM through the gateway with this bad boy. Let's just do it. See what happens. It sounded like a voice at the beginning of that. That was weird. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Go. And we're scanning. Hello? I heard you. Vanessa, is that you? Yes. Whoa! Vanessa, we're hearing you. Oh yeah, guys, I don't have the good mic in, so you might not be able to hear it as well. Can y'all hear it okay? Here, would it help if I bring this closer to you? Hi. Are you saying hi to the Epic researchers? To our Epic fam? Sounds good. Yeah, this is Eric. This is Eric from Epic. I can hear you loud and clear. Over. This is Eric from Epic. Can you hear me? Over. I love all those spooky noises from AM. I used to always use just FM until I started combining AM and FM. And when we had our month where we were reaching out to Tesla back in October, he would always, the spirit claiming to be Tesla would always come through when we would use AM. And there's a big difference between the frequencies. AM is amplitude modulation, FM is frequency modulation. But guys, I gotta build back up my ultra mega super gateway with AM, FM, and the ambient amplification. I wanted to have that done for tomorrow, but it'll be done for the new locations next week. Well, it'll be at least in a testable phase. Alright, I'm gonna talk about a dream I had, but let's do this. Let's make it a little spicy. Tina T! What up, Tina T? So we're gonna make it spicy. We're gonna go quiet box on this here. Oh no, tangled it up. Okay. But yeah, this thing is incredible. It is incredible, especially the FM on it is really good. All right, let's do this. All right, hopefully find a spot where there's not a ton of frickin' EMF. There you go. You're getting it. So using quiet box, it makes the output super quiet on the AM. So you got to boost the volume dramatically to make it work. Let's change the lighting for this next dream talk. Where's the freaking remote? I had it. I had it. But where did it go?
Push the snap.
Not that remote.
Push the snap.
There it is.
Push the snap. Push the snap.
You say what's the time? Alright, yeah, yeah. Alright, let's do this. So, Vanessa, if you want to interject at any point, feel free to absolutely do so. The screen's busted on this, so I have to press carefully. So, alright, we're going to close it out here. The dream I had a few years ago felt very similar in nature to the dream I had last night. However, the circumstances, the situations are 1,000,000,000% different. So the only thing that was similar was the feeling. In this dream I had a few years ago, and let me just start off by saying this dream wrecked me. For a few days afterwards, I was just destroyed. I was destroyed. I couldn't make sense. The dream started off pretty normal. I was performing at a concert venue that used to be downtown, called Cosmics, at its original location right on campus. And I was performing there. We got done performing, and I was out back where you load in and out when you load your gear in and out. And there was a guy out there, like a homeless guy, and he'd been talking to me. He was like, you know, he had the cup and everything. He was talking to me. He was like asking me about a bunch of stuff, and then he started talking about. He absolutely just went nuts. Like he already seemed kind of crazy, and then the dude just goes like absolutely nuts. It's like, man, he's nuts. And he was like, look, man, they're coming. They're coming. They're going to be coming from the skies. They're going to use rain as missiles. Like, he just started flipping out. And he's like, we have to do something. And he started, like, panicking and telling me, he's like, look, we got to do something. We have to do this. And I was like, whoa, dude, back up. Like, he was freaking out and grabbing me and saying that it's about to happen. We have to do something. We have to stop it. This dude, imagine a stranger, like a homeless guy, comes up to you, starts grabbing you and telling him, like, we gotta do something, they're coming, like, and, like, I was thinking, like, cops, like, I don't know, what's he talking about, like, what is he talking about, like, missile rain, and so, he's doing that for a second, and all of a sudden, you know, they're, like, we hear something in the sky, see something, and there's, like, light coming, and then that's it. He starts backing away from me and like looking like he's about to like make a break for it. And there's this light coming out of the sky, and there's these, oh man. So this is super weird. It's this, what comes over the building like way in the sky is this like ancient looking statue of a head. And it's more well defined than like Easter Island, like than those sculptures. It's more well defined. It's more like almost like an Egyptian type statue. Very defined facial features. Old, and it's massive. It's like the size of a building, and it is huge. And there was I can't remember. That's right. So this first one comes over, and then there's a second one, and that's when the guy finally talks again. The second one comes over, and these things are huge, and they're just huge stone statues of heads, of massive ancient-looking heads, and they're coming in the air. There's one close and one, and then the guy was like, "You can't let them touch. You can't let them touch." He starts freaking out and telling me, "It's like you gotta make them not touch. You can't let them touch." Like, dude starts freaking out again, and So the other one gets closer, and then they start coming together. And when they do touch, when they do actually like make contact, all of a sudden, just huge burst of like energy, this yellowish type energy, like aura, and it starts like swirling. It starts swirling like some futuristic, like super alien technology. It starts swirling together, and then it starts like locking in place. Parts of it start locking in place, and when it forms this like giant, this even bigger head with, and it's like very narrow faced head, and it had like this like choker looking thing on it, and when oh man, when this thing formed, the impact, we could feel the impact of it, and it starts emitting this just massive radiant yellow energy. And as it's coming down towards us, the guy next to me, that homeless guy, and me are both being laid back down to the ground slowly. It was so weird. And so we're like from the standing position, just slowly being laid back flat on the ground. What? And once we're laid back on the ground, all of a sudden I feel this subduing effect, and it's like this thing in the sky is paralyzing us and then making us feel good. Like it put over this, like, I don't know, it felt like being drugged, and it was like being sedated. It was like being sedated but kept awake for it. Like, I don't know. And he eventually like opens his mouth. Oh, I wrote down what he said. I wrote down this entire dream, and I have it somewhere. I need to find it. Because he said the thing in the sky said something to us right before this next part happens. He said something to us, and then he opens his mouth all the way, and just every bit. This, guys, this is going to sound absolutely insane, but imagine you're experiencing this. He opens his mouth, bright flash of light. Every single bit of knowledge in the entire universe goes into my brain, and I can't do anything about it. Like, the flash happens, and it comes back, and he's there, and he's putting every bit of data, every single bit of data from the entire universe. I'm not talking about just the Earth, just what we know, just some, every single thing. He was putting it into my head, like, and I couldn't stop it. I was paralyzed. I couldn't do anything about it. And oh man, it was everything. It was absolutely everything. And there was, so there was something with water in the dream, and I don't remember that part. Like, I need to find where I wrote it down. I wrote all this down. But after they were done giving this homeless guy and me, like, all the data in the world, or this big thing, I say they because it was two things and it became one, but, like, I was shattered in the dream. Like, I was just destroyed. And I woke up, like, almost immediately after that. And the feelings that I had, the sensations, all of that transferred over when I woke up. There was no, like, you know when you wake up and, like, something kind of, the dream kind of lifts off you, especially gradually throughout the day? No, that didn't happen. It stayed just as heavy on me for days, and I couldn't get over it. I couldn't get over it. I couldn't even remember all the stuff that was going into my brain. Like, I couldn't remember, like, all of it, but it was that, the feeling of knowing how we got here, of knowing what happened, of knowing what the universe is, of knowing every single piece of it. Like, I think what my brain was trying to prepare me for, or maybe even there was some entity trying to prepare me in a rapid format, in a very fast-paced way. My brain or the spirits or both were trying to prepare me for doing the paranormal. And they might have overdone it, but as I was talking about earlier at the beginning, I believe that dreams, when we dream, We are communicating with the soul about how to prepare for our day, for the next day, and for our life. And I think that was a moment in my life where the the paranormal, even before I started, this was before I started investigating, before I knew anything about the paranormal. I think it was entities on the other side attempting to bring me into the paranormal or attempting to prep me for it. Like I'd be half tempted to like go to a hypnotist or something and see if they could pull out some of that information and see what it is, or see what at least see what might be left of it in there. Guys, I've like the dreams I've had have never. I don't know. I've always had some kind of weird something or another with the dreams. Like when I was younger, I would have dreams that would last years, and the one that was the most profound was it was a dream where it started. I was like 16 years old at the time, and in the dream I was 16. This dream lasted for 2 years, and I like ended up being at like living at this like facility type school for a long time, and I drove around a different car. I met all new people. Like I had a whole new group of friends, all new teachers, and like when I eventually woke up from that dream, I was crushed. I was crushed. It was like 2 years of life gone. People I'll never get to see again, places I'll never see again, just immediately gone. And I'm having deja vu because I think I talked about this before on here. But that night, I was driving from like a friend's house or the store or something. I was driving down the main road here, and it felt like I hadn't been on that road in years. It literally, that feeling of like, wow, this road again. But I was just on it the day before. But it felt like years because of the dream. Like, I don't know. I just had lots of weird dream stuff. A lot of the weirdest stuff is them lasting so long, and then the vividness of the dreams, and then the lucidity. Like, from a young age, I was able to lucid dream, and it was just like a normal phenomenon that would occur if certain things happen in the dream. I would just start lucid dreaming. And when you're younger, I haven't had this happen since I've been older. But when I was younger, whenever I'd start lucid dreaming, I would have probably 5-10 minutes total to be in the dream before like comets from space would start coming down and like crashing and burning everything, as like the brain being like, no, you can't be here, like, and then trying to wake me up with that. Like, it's just absolutely crazy. All right, so yeah, exactly, Siri. Our brain can process data so fast that 5 minutes in a dream can feel like days. That's exactly right. And it's because of the way our biocomputers work. Time's relative. And so, especially in dreams. All right, guys, let's Stefan. That was clear. Tina T, you've had some crazy dreams too. You were running, trying to get to a safe space. The world was ending. Yeah, back when I was a very angry teenager, I would have those tornado dreams. Oh, yeah. And guys, did I tell you about my alien encounter dreams? I think I did. I think I already told you all about the alien encounter dreams. Birth? Birth? All right, let's Janlit, you haven't heard them? Tina T. All right, well, I'll try to make these quick. So, when I was in middle school, I started having these super weird dreams. It's where my sleep paralysis and night terrors started. Was, well, that I know of. Started when this Earth. Or Hey Siri, I don't know. In middle school, I started having. That's when I first started having night terrors and sleep paralysis. And I had no idea what they were. I didn't know until like my 20s, until what all this was. But the first dreams, the first things that would happen is, and I thought I was awake, and still to this day, I'm not sure if I was awake or sleeping, but I would see a white light outside my window. Like, it was like a big white orb would come from the sky and then come to my window. Everything would go white, and then I'd wake up. I'd wake up the next day. And to me, it felt like I was just laying there in bed, like about to go to sleep, and then I'd see it, and it would happen. This happened a few times. And then the next dream I had that was, well, I guess this wasn't a dream. This was like this is all leading up to the alien encounter dream. But the next one I had that was like it messed me up kind of hardcore was one night I was going to sleep, and all of a sudden there were these two shadow people in my bed, and they were tickling me and poking me, and they were laughing about it. They were laughing. And they had the voices of two girls in my class that I was friends with, of Katie and Amy. They had their voices, but they were completely shadow people. And as a kid, I decided to ignore the fact that I couldn't make out any details. I couldn't make out their hair, their noses, their eyes, their faces, clothes. But so it escalated to the point where, like, what I'm about to tell you is just, I don't know. I think we can make contact, and I think there can be messages left in our brain. But here's the dream. So I'm in the house, and now this I know is a dream. I know there's no way this could have been real. But I was in the house with my friend Bobby, and it's the middle of the day. We're not at school. Maybe it's school's over. We're just in the house. It starts storming outside, or it's like about to storm. And then so we look outside, and lo and behold, there's a tornado just like miles away, just very close tornado, and we could see it. And we could see it just ripping stuff up, like trees flying, like houses tearing apart, and it's coming right towards the house, like we're from the back porch looking, seeing it. So we run inside, and the center of our house, there was a closet, and it was just filled with crap. And so I'm panicking, you know, my heart's racing super fast. I'm like freaking out. I'm thinking Bobby and me are gonna die because we have a bunch of crap in this stupid closet. Like, I was freaking out. So I started like ripping the stuff out of the closet, and Bobby's like, we're not gonna make it. And so we go to my room, in the closet in my room, and we sit there for a second, and then everything stops. All the noises outside stop. We stop hearing the storm. We stop hearing thundering. We stop hearing everything. And so we get up, and we notice that it's gone dark. It is gone dark. What? So it's dark. We're freaked out. We're like, what the heck? And so we go out back. And so a tornado was going to hit our house, and then it doesn't. And then everything goes bulbous. Then everything goes black. And so we go outside, and this is where the encounter happens. So as we're out back, I look up, and I can see two crafts. And they're not even as big as this house. They're relatively small, at least from my perception. They look like that. And then all of a sudden, bam! I could feel something. I had to be like this had to be no later than 9th grade. I had no idea about the paranormal. Didn't know anything about aliens, like, and I could feel something from these UFOs. Not just like, oh wow, UFOs, like right here in my face. No, I could feel and sense something. These two beings came down from the UFOs. They came down. They were invisible. They were completely invisible, but I could see them. I could see them. And it's not like they were transparent or translucent. My whole entire being knew where they were. And they came down slowly. And as they got on the ground, they were in the backyard, and we were on the porch, and it was pretty much level ground. Like, the porch was just like an inch taller than the grass. So like, we're on the little porch part, and they're in the grass, and I could sense them and feel them with every single fiber in my body. And then they start talking to me in my mind, just like we were talking about with that doll that turned and spoke to me in my mind. This was my first ever experience with anything like this, and they talked directly into my brain. It was just like, channel open for communication, like. And so they were talking to me, and I was like, can they hear my thoughts? And then they were like, only if you let us. Like, it was just, and they talked to me very calmly and gently. And, oh, I just had a crazy revelation. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. There were two ships. One entity came out of each. So there was two of the entities talking with me. In that dream I had with the whole entire knowledge of the universe, it was two floating head things. Two floating head things that became one and then gave me the information. When I first started getting super crystal clear communication through this, it wasn't just Frank. It was Frank and Maxine. When I first got the SLS camera, the very first time I turned it on, it was sitting still. It was sitting stationary on a table. I turned it on, and I was in the middle of the shot, and beside me were two entities mapped in, Frank and Maxine. One on either side.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know, like, guys, here's the thing. I have no idea if they're Frank and Maxine. It could just easily be a coincidence. It could easily be a coincidence. But as investigators, we know that there's no such thing as coincidences. At the very least, there's a correlation, maybe not a cause, but a correlation between these events. So, guys, my entire life, something has been drawing me into this field. And it's been trying blatantly hard. It's not hidden the fact that it wants me to be here doing this. It's not done anything to conceal its intentions. And I just have not been aware of it until it took me, 26 years to realize that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, or this is what something on the other side wants me to be doing. Like, when I think back to it, there's so many events in my life that were just blatantly paranormal or blatantly abnormal, blatantly supernatural in some sort. So it took me a long time to realize that, like a long time. More light? The day that we graduated, I think it was 5th grade, but all the neighborhood kids were still there, so it might have been like 2nd grade or 3rd grade. On the very first day of summer, one year in elementary school, we were still into wrestling. I hadn't started football yet. Somewhere between 2nd and 5th grade, all my friends were still there, so it had to have been like 2nd or 3rd grade. The day summer started, we were out back wrestling, and we loved to wrestle. We would just always wrestle and just beat the crap out of each other, and that was our thing. And so we'd been wrestling all day. The sun had finally started going down. It was like May, and there used to be a old Bronco truck that was just like dilapidated, didn't work. It was just in the yard. It was a big like SUV style truck that just sat in the backyard, and we would jump off of it and like hit each other, like wrestling. And so after we got done wrestling, we decided to sit on the Bronco, and it was just me and one other person on the Bronco. They jumped off, and at that moment, like shortly after they jumped off, I saw in the distance this weird orange light. It was just chilling. It was just hovering in the sky, and I was like, airplane? I was like, as a kid, like elementary school kid, I was like, airplane. It's got to be an airplane, or, like a weirdly decorated airplane. This orange light it stays in the same spot and just slowly starts hovering. And then I noticed that it's got like shades of orange. Like there's like light coming off of it, and that orange light is like causing it to look bigger. Like it's reflecting its light, basically. So it's like something that's reflecting the orange light that's around it. And it starts hovering. It starts like just hovering up, just slowly, just rising super slowly. And as it gets higher, it starts rising even slower. Like, and then it just stays still in the air. And at this point, everyone is seeing it. All my friends are seeing it. Like Nick, Jesse, Bobby, Brandon, and me. All of us are seeing this thing. And as it's rising, it just stays there. And we're like, what is that? Is that a firework? Is that like a delayed firework? And so it just hovers there for a second. And then boom! It just like shoots. It just blam! It just immediately just gone. It just like shot diagonally, like from our vantage point, like towards us, like like just gone, just up and away, just immediately, and it was just incredible. It's Nick. Are you saying that orange UFO was Nick? But yeah, I'm trying to think of other times. Last night when Laramie was picking up the girls, I saw a shooting star, but it was going from down to up. It went whoosh. I just didn't even say anything. Laramie doesn't like hearing about anything paranormal, UFO. None of that. She don't like none of that. Laramie and me have seen a lot of shooting stars together. It's weird. I'm trying to think if I've had any other UFO encounters or alien encounters. Have y'all had any strange UFO phenomenon? Have you all seen any UFOs in person or any aliens in person? Or in your dreams? Tina T, y'all seen a UFO 3 times together? That's wild. That is wild. Always in the same spot, Tina, or different spots? Janlet, you had an experience? Oh wow, so you had a big experience. They kind of looked reptilian to you. See, I didn't see them when I. Oh, Tina, oh the big orange one too, and 2 are where you live now. Yeah, Janlet, that does sound absolutely terrifying. And guys, one of my biggest fears is being abducted, like just being abducted in general, just by aliens or anybody, but especially by a creature that has the ability to paralyze you and then to take you. And what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Is there any defense? I wonder if you did wrap yourself in foil, if it would prevent them from being able to reach. And guys, the tinfoil hat, that's the perfect way to condemn conspiracy theorists, because the tinfoil hat actually would block out frequency, like a Faraday cage, like a microwave. It would actually block the government's ability, or whoever's in charge's ability, to get frequency into your brain or into your body if you had a full suit. Like foil, metal foil is what separates the astronauts from space. It what separates the space vehicles from outer space, if space is real. But the tinfoil hat thing, it's genius from the people in power's perspective, because they make people feel dumb if they feel like they should wear a tinfoil hat because of all the negativity, but it's actually the right thing to do. And that's messed up, guys. That is messed up. It is so messed up. It's some of that truth stuff we were talking about, like, and you can't go around telling people they should wear tinfoil hats. I want to line this hat with foil, and see if that, but then again, it could stop spirits from transmitting messages directly to me, So I don't know, guys. There's more to everything than meets the eye. There's truth in every story, and there's motivation behind every story. And if you can learn people's motivations, then you can kind of make sense of what's true and what's not. Tina, or it could boost the connection. Maybe that's right. Maybe it could weed out some of the excess extraneous EMF that's from day to day that's messing with us, and maybe it could open us up more to just the pure spirit communication, the pure spirit energy. So it'd be worth a shot. I would only do it on Patreon. I would only do it on Patreon. Get this, guys, get this. Beanies and hats that have a foil lining in them and then another cloth lining over top. So it'd be like cloth, foil, cloth. So it doesn't look like a tinfoil hat at all. It just look like a regular hat. But you would actually have electromagnetic shielding in the hat, preventing extraneous frequencies from reaching your brain. I think that's the move. I think that's the move. Plus the beanies that say lit, and the lit's actually LED lights that light up so you can use it as a headlamp. I think that's the move. Yeah, John G, I at least need to make some for our research crew here. Janlet, wow. So they weren't allowed to tell you anything? Dawn, you phrased that so good. Let me see. The way she phrased it was really good. They probably realize it works, so that's why they make it sound stupid. Exactly. Nixon. Guys, there's been a lot of talk about the JFK video and session, and I have to get into that some other time. I do want to start researching the JFK topic because I think we might have opened a can of worms, and we at least need to, grab all the worms up. So, but guys, I'm gonna hop off here. It is time for dinner. It is time to eat some grub. Guys, thank you all for sharing your stories. Janlit, thank you for sharing your story with the research crew. That's huge. That's big. And sometime in the future, maybe we can talk more about what we think they want, what we think that they're going for, and who do we think might be giving them instructions. Like who's telling them that, like, surely they're just not of their free will deciding to randomly pick people on the planet and talk to or do things to. Like, so I'm sure we could figure out some, or just, we could just throw some ideas around, see what happens. But Owen, Don, Jan Lit, Deb Lit, everybody who's here, everyone who rewatches, thank you for being part of the Epic Research Crew, the most lit research crew on the planet. I love y'all. We're all meant to be together for a reason. And I think this stream has probably drove that fact home pretty strongly. We've all had some type of experience, so I think we're all here together for a reason. Tina T, Siri, everybody, Angie Roddingdahl, I love y'all so much. John G, the G-Man. Stay awesome, guys. Stay tuned. Stay lit. Stay epic. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on location. Yes. So tomorrow on location. I gotta get ready. I gotta pack. I'm not ready at all. Love y'all. Stay lit. Stay epic. Y'all are the best.